Hello, my name is Marcus and welcome to the 2025 expansion Extravaganza. I did this for my 100th video and now I'm doing it for this video. Why is it 2025 expansion Extravaganza, you might ask yourself, considering we are in 2026? Well, it's because these are a whole bunch of the expansions from 2025 that I didn't get around to making a video about, so I'm making a video for them here. Going in an order where I quickly show an overview and then quickly talk about the expansion. I'm going to try and keep it under 10 minutes per expansion, which will still make this video very, very long, but I will also make sure to have timestamps showing when what expansion goes. But let's start off with Here to Slay Banner Quest. Alright, starting off with Here to Slay, here it is set up normally. The things you will add is all of these banner cards which will be put out face up so all can see it. My table isn't quite large enough here, so I'll just put them to the side here, but you should put all of them out. Then we have all of these here tokens that is also placed somewhere close by, and then of course there are some cards for each pile to be added in, which has something to do with this expansion. But it's basically the setup changes. Now the gameplay does not change at all. The only difference is that at some point you may acquire some of these banners if you fulfill whatever it is that they say. So for example, this one, it says slay a monster. So if you manage to slay a monster, say you slay this one, you get to also claim this here banner. Now it comes with an ability down here, something once per turn for this one. Most of them should be once per turn you do something. But if someone else slays a monster, let's say you have an opponent over here that just slayed a monster now, well, they take it from you. Now all the other ones here are all something to do with a certain type of card, of course. So 3 warriors, 3 thieves, or is that knights? 3 sorcerers, I think that is, 3 druids. Wait, it literally says it at the top actually. So 3 druids, 3 berserkers, 3 bards, 3 guardians, 3 of a kind, and you get to claim the banner. If you ever go below 3, you don't necessarily lose it. You only lose it once you've claimed it. Once you're the one with the fewest. So let's say you have 3, but your opponent on here then gets 4 of the guardians. Well, they claim the banner from you. The alternate win condition that comes is getting 3 banners, or of course 3 monsters. Then you win the game. That is all that to change that it brings. And then we have that quick overview of the Here to Slay Banner Quest. I just got the box out here. I think this expansion is really good. I think it's something that Here to Slay needed. The previous expansion just added a whole bunch of cards and the new monsters and stuff didn't change anything about it. I like them, I have all of them. But bringing this one in with just an extra new win condition, I think that's a very, very welcome change. It mixes it up a little bit, gives you a little bit more to think about before taking your turns, but doesn't increase the difficulty. It doesn't make it more complicated. Here to Slay is still a very, very lovely and simple game, even with this extra win condition. It's just an extra win condition. I love it. It's I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I have written 10 over here, but I'm going to give it a 9. And the reason I'm not going to stick to that 10 out of 10 is because I think 10 out of 10s change up the game. This one doesn't change the game, it just adds a win condition, which is a very lovely addition to the game, but it's not a change to the game, so to speak, if you understand. But still, 9 out of 10, I really think it's a lovely, amazing expansion for Here to Slay. If you have a Here to Slay, I absolutely recommend getting this expansion over any other expansions. So yeah. Next up, it's Lord of the Rings Duel for Middle-earth Allies expansion. So here's just the game set up for the first era. And with the Allies expansions bring in these 2 very small decks of cards for the good guys and the bad guys, or Free Boobs and Sauron, whatever. Good guys and bad guys. So you'll shove these cards up and then you'll draw out 3 cards per player. So 3 cards for each. And what these have is some character on the side here, which has 2 abilities that can be activated throughout. And we'll just talk about that in just a second. Next up, we just need to make sure that these little tiles, 1 is given to each player, and then 2 will be set up on the board here, according to the setup guide here. So for the first era, it's on these 2 cards here. So there and there. And you also have this little booklet here that explains all the abilities of all the cards. One for Sauron, one from the Fellowship. And that's the word that I use. Yeah. So the way they work is they have 2 abilities each. And one is the sort of the activation ability. You put it in and pay one of these. You know, I'll pay for it. Now I get to use this ability he has right here. Yeah, it is the enter effect and the exit effect. So sort of now he is entered, and I've utilized the enter effect here for whatever it does. If I want to use the exit effect, I will have to pay 2 of these tiles. But I only started 1 and now I've paid it to use it. So how do I get more? Well, you put it on these 2 up here that are face down. And let me just remove some cards here to showcase how to get a hold of them. Because let us say that this is the situation we are in at some point throughout the game. Now the thing that you would first think is, okay, so you flip the card over and then when you take the card, you also get the token. But no, let us say I'm in this situation. I take this one down here, and then before I flip this over, I also grab the token. So that is how I get more tokens. It's by being the one who needs to flip the cards. Not the one who takes the card, but the one who flips the cards. And that is how I get more cards. And then if I have 2, I can pay for those, use his exit effect, and now he has been used. He's out of the game, I cannot use him anymore. It's quite important to distinguish between whether they are entered, exited, or haven't been used, because there are some cards that refer to cards that have been entered or something. You know, so it's just important to distinguish between those 2. But that is basically what the expansion adds. And that's the gameplay overview of it. I'm just going to do this because inside it's a little bit fragile if I move it around too much, this box. So, the Allies expansion. One of the first things we ran to get at Ethenspiel last year. And at first, I was a little bit disappointed by the first couple of plays. But I must admit, playing it more, it has grown on me a little bit. It does give some tactical overview to the game, just a little oomph to it. But you can still absolutely just play it without worrying about them. You're just giving your opponent a little bit of a advantage. So I do like them. I wish that maybe we just had access to all the cards, all the rounds we might play with just with that, because some of the cards are definitely not very good. But perhaps this is because we play it wrong. But that's the feeling I get, is that some of the cards aren't as good as other cards. But mostly I will say it has very much grown on me. And having these cards here, just that little extra ability is something that you can do throughout the game. It's a lovely addition to it, and it's not as bad as I first thought it was. It has definitely grown above the Keystone North America Coastal expansion, which is coming up. But yeah, so I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. Not an amazing expansion, not an expansion to say definitely get it if you like Lord of the Rings Duel of Middle-earth, but it's definitely an expansion that I'll probably rather play with than not. But not because it's amazing, just because it fits in nicely. So a decent expansion, Lord of the Rings Duel of Middle-earth Allies expansion. The next expansion we're looking at is Keystone North America Coastal expansion. I've set everything up except individual players, because basically just focus on this over here. And this is a modules game, and one of the simple modules is just adding a bunch of cards to the deck. Give you an example of one. It has this symbol down here. Can we get focus? Bam, a little dolphin symbol. This is a killer whale here. But yeah, they are of course coastal focused. You have sea otters, killer whale, a least turn here. These 3 are expansion cards. So they are going to be water and coastal focused, but simply can be added, and they have all the corresponding symbols to it. The other one is adding in new of these here, which I've forgotten what they're called, but they have a lovely blue background, little ocean-like. Yeah, they have a bunch of different abilities. You can put out fully of those, you can mix them in together to have a split variant, or you can just keep these. I have a little bit of a preference towards these here base game ones. A little bit of a preference. I think they are, to me, a little bit more simple to have. So yeah. Next up you have this here. I will focus on the community focus board here. So it's this board which contains each of the 4 things and you have this little thing here, so it starts on one of them at random, and then for 3 synergy tokens you can move it to whatever you want, and then for 5 synergy tokens you can get to place one of your research markers here on a card matching this one. So yeah, for 8 tokens you can get one of these. Yeah, if you are like me, you have the playmat. It's actually printed down here. You have all the symbols here, so you can just place it on like that. You don't even need this board here. So yeah, probably my least favorite module. It's a little annoying. And the last module is these here conservation centers. So each player will get 5. So just to showcase them, this is a snowy landscape one, this is a grassy landscape one, sun one, the purple one, and special symbols one. And what these do is they provide an extra space for cards. So let's say I got this here red wolf. So now I can place it into any one that matches. So it is a green one down here, so I could place it in the green one. It has these 3 symbols, meaning I could place it in either one of these. But it also has the endangered symbol, so I could place it in here. Let's say I placed it here. Now to start off with, you can only fit in 1. But there will also be these expansion tiles, which will be placed at specific spots up here, which is very neat. If you have the playmat, of course. Not available if you don't have the playmat. So yeah, in that sense, you just have to place them somewhere near. But each of these ones come at a cost. You're sort of expanding your conservation centers. The first time you do it, it costs 3 synergy, then 5 synergy, 7 synergy, 10 synergy. And this is for each one. So the first one here is 3, the first one here is 3. But they all only have room for 1 card. But let's say I bought this here, which is an overlay that goes on top, like so. But as these symbols down here, I now have room for 2 more cards. So now for this one, because it's the endangered one, I could also fit the killer whale and the sea otter. So now I have 3 cards in this one, because that's how many I can have. And it of course also comes with a different scoring. And the way you score it is you count up each card you have down here. If you have any research tokens on it, say I had the one here, add that together and times it by how many tokens you have over here. So you start off with 1, this one has 2, so I would have 3 cards, I have 1 research token, that's 4 times 2, that would be 8 points. And then of course 0 for the rest. But let me take an example. I could also, maybe I have this one over here, so that's 1 times 1, so that would be 1 point. So we get 9 points in total here. That's how they score. And those are the 4 modules, so to speak. Well, I mean, if you add cards to it and you count that as a module, but the 4 modules that this expansion adds. Alright, the first expansion for Keystone North America. I'm saying Keystone North America and not Keystone North America 2nd edition, because this game expansion is designed bearing in mind if you want to keep 1st edition but still have the expansion. So that's very nice. Although this expansion is very much a 2-player expansion, so you would need some upgrade bits to make it a 4-player expansion. But yeah. So modules. I'm not always crazy about modules, because if you don't think about it too much, they aren't going to mix very well. I think this is an expansion where the modules do mix quite well. And I'm very happy about that. So first off, you just have additional cards. Thumbs up, I love additional cards. I mean, I have a complete Wingspan collection, so I love additional cards. Even Here's Your Slay, most of them are just additional cards. I love those kind of expansions, they're good. Can usually just bring the game up a little bit. If you're not careful like me, opposite of me, no. If you are not careful, like I am not careful, you get way too many cards. What would be the correct grammatical way to phrase that? I don't know, tell me in the comments. Yeah, these ones, not too many cards, and lovely little addition there. You have the extra gold cards for, why did I not read up on what they're called? I can't remember what they're called. That's amateurish. But hey, I'm still an amateur, so those are fine. As I said in the overview, I prefer to play with the base game ones. I just think they fit a little bit too more neatly, and I feel like they're more balanced. They may not be, but I feel like it, right? But the coastal ones are a good addition, and they do interact with the coastal modules very well. Then you have the two other modules. One of them, the community focus thing, what? I don't like that one at all. Paying 3 to place one of your research tokens, that's kind of expensive. And paying 5 to move it, that's very expensive, I feel like. That's just not worth the risk. I know that they're not really I mean, it's one point to make another point or something, but it's just doesn't feel like it's worth the risk. It's very expensive to do it. We didn't do it. The only reason that it moved is because some of the tiles, the other gold tiles thing, interact with it. That's the only reason that it moved. We didn't do anything with it other than that. Like, it was completely untouched. I really think that's a very, very bad module. And the third module is these conservation centers. I don't like them. They were a little confusing for me because I absolutely accidentally placed too many cards in some of them. You have to remember that thing, if there's only one, you can place one card. If there's 2, you can place 3 cards. If there's, well, and so on. Each expansion adds 2 limited cards. But it's definitely nice. It expands the game, or not expands the game. That's not, I mean, it does expand the game, but it makes the game longer. I don't think that's necessarily a bad idea, because you do open it up a little bit. Because a lot of times you might sit and think, there's none of these 6 cards that help me whatsoever. Is there anything else I can do? But now you can place them over here, and they just automatically score points. So that's very lovely to be able to do that. In such a, that's very lovely. I think it really takes into account something that can bother you throughout the game and tries to negate it. You can still end up not getting a perfect score, but it definitely adds to the game, and I think that is a very amazing mod. Probably the best one in this box. This one is another one where I was taking a little bit back. I think it's because those tiles, I don't like them as much as the base game tiles, and you have the community focus board, which is just bad. But the extra cards added in are always lovely, and the conservation center boards are just a really lovely addition. So this is also a 7 out of 10 for me, absolutely. If you watched my top 10 expansions of the year, Allies expansion was below this one. Allies expansion moved above this one for me. Just playing a little bit more and getting more to know it. So it's a 7 out of 10 for the coastal expansion, Keystone North America. Let's move on to some Flamecraft expansions, where we actually have 2 expansions to look at. The first is Dragons of the Past. So the Dragons of the Past is simply put a pack full of promos that they released previously. Most of them are shop promos that are of course contained within this deck here. There are also some specific dragons that that have names. The Dice Tower dragons are apparently not a part of this pack for some reason, so I would have to get those on the side. But one thing it brings in is this very interesting one. It looks different on the back. It's the spacecraft one. It is pretty interesting. It plays very differently, and usually what I do is I put it at the top because then we absolutely use it. But I don't know why it's different in blue. I can't find a reason for it having a blue back color then. Yeah, but it also brings in these alternate starter shops, and what these have is an ability. You can either get a point, or you can lose a point to get 2 of the resource matching the starter shop. So you would of course put these in instead of the regular starter shops, and we've absolutely started doing this because they do change up a little bit. Like for example, this one goes from being starter dragon, diamond or leaf to being starter dragon, bread, any dragon. So it opens up the game a little bit more, I think, because all of them now it has any type of dragons. You can basically visit any place from the start, and you also get these hard points. So there's no reason not to play with these, in my opinion. But that's basically what Dragons of the Past does. A lovely bunch of promos, with some of them being really amazing, like the starter shops. Then we have the Dragons and Dragons expansion, which is a module expansion which adds 5 modules. Yes, count them, 5. Now, I will say one of them that count as a module is just simply put new companions. So yeah, the companions is of course something that each player gets, and it's a one-time ability. And the expansion just adds a couple more of those. I think it's 6 more of those. I think. Do I have the rulebook so I can check that up? I can't. Where the hell have I put that one? Anyways, I think it's about 6 new companions. So that's one thing. Another one, and a different one that they bring in, is double dragons. Of course, inspired by Flamecraft Duels, I think. So a bunch of dragons that are double-sided. They recommend not playing with all of them, but taking a specific group of them based on something that says in the rulebook. Where the hell did I put that one? I had it in my hands like 2 seconds ago. Well, that's my headache once I'm done recording. So you'll take a specific amount of these ones and put into the dragon's deck. They also come with a rule because now the dragon deck is very, very thick. So they say, you know, you should take a specific amount each. That's why in the back here they are sorted by color. I don't want to undo that right now. So take a specific amount of those, add in the double dragons, and then that's the deck that you will be playing with. But you might have noticed that I did not set up face-up dragons in the park. That's because you have parks and craft and overlay board. Over here you simply play with this one. And what it does is that when you take a dragon into your hand, once per turn you may fire it up instead. So if you were to take a dragon from over here, let's say it was this one here, then I would get to use its ability instead of taking it, and I would be leaving it in the park for others to enjoy. They recommend not playing this one with the double dragons. We have tried playing it with the double dragons. I don't see why you can't play them both at the same time. Another module that it adds in is the double dragon starter shop. And this is a starter shop that will come in extra and will not be placed on any of the spots. They actually say you should place it over at the end of the park's track. But in case you can't see it, that's the edge of my table. That's the other edge of my table. My table is not long enough to play Flamecraft on. But yeah, it's another starter shop, and you can place 2 dragons at a place, and you fire up both of them. But only the first one you place gets the bonus ship. You can place 2 dragons, and then you get double abilities if you want to. So you kind of choose a slot to fire up this one and this one and this one, and fire up the dragons that are both the dragons that are there if there are 2. It's a good, cool little starter shop to get. It also gives you a whatever token. What's the word? Whatever. you choose the color yourself. So that's a cool little thing that counts as a module for itself. That's so. What have I gone through now? The double dragons, the parks and crafts, that one, the companions. There's 4 of them. We need 1 more. And comes here. It's the enchantment. This is the big one. So this one. Wait, I just dropped it. So this card should be placed somewhere. We usually play it at the other end of the double dragons. But again, my table is not at all long enough for it. And it has these 2 slots here. And those will be filled in by these cards here. So you sort of place them like this. And now each of them has a cost here. And whenever you enchant, so let's say I was able to do this here enchantment, I could then choose to also pay whatever it says right here, and then get the bonus down here. This is 2 special dragon magical dragons. This is choose any shop, fire up to 2 dragons there. So something a little bit to do there. And each of them have this thing there. It also adds in a scoring dragon over here that scores more points based on these that you have. But basically you pay the goods and then you get a bonus down here. You get to do that every time you enchant as a bonus action to enchanting. So you enchant, you do whatever you do with the enchantment first, and then you say, do I want to do this one as well? So very interesting little addition there. Also very simple, because now I'm done talking about them. That was the 5 modules of the Dragons of the Past, and the promo cards of the Dragons of the Past. All right. So 2 expansions now talking about in 1 game. What? Crazy! But yeah, Flamecraft, let's start with Dragons of the Past. It adds in those extra starter shops and a few more cards. And a few other shops in there. I think it is a 10 out of 10. Those starter shops is really a great addition, and we haven't played without them since they added in. So that is an amazing addition to the game. The other shop that in there, that space shop and some of the other stuff, are very interesting shops. They're different shops. Love using them. Love getting them into play. So it's an absolute 10 out of 10. That one, very simple. Dragons and Dragons, another module expansion. 5 modules, this one of them is just companions, extra cards, that's fine. The Parks and Crafts one, I find a little boring. I mean, sure, we could use it throughout the game and stuff, but adding this entire overlay and being like, don't play it with the double dragons or high dragons, what they were called. Don't do that, that's a bad idea. But no, it's not really. It's a meh. It's a very meh thing. We play with it just because we might as well. You have the board and an overlay and stuff, so you might as well. But it's a little bit meh. You know, don't care too much about it. The High Dragons one is quite interesting. Giving you double things from them. You can only choose one of the things when you take the dragons, and their ability is a hybrid of them, and which is fairly interesting. So they're fairly interesting. They are basically just additional dragons with different powers. I think that's welcome to have some different powers and different variability in their usage. So yeah, it's a welcome addition, not because I am crazy about it, but it's a welcome addition. Then you got the Double Dragon Starter Shop. I like it because it doesn't waste space, it just adds in. So you have an extra shop to go to, it has some variability in its powers and its abilities, and you can add more dragons there. But you are sort of scared a little bit away from doing it because you only get the bonus once, so not very often does it get 2 dragons on any space. It does happen from time to time, we do use it some more, so it's another one like the High Dragons one. It's a welcome one, not crazy, not amazing, but I welcome it and I do like to use it. Parks and Crafts, still the only one where I'm like, yeah, okay, fine, we'll play with it. That was a couple of them. Then we have the Enchantment Edition, and that one is great. I mean, it's amazing. I love it. You look forward to it, you think about, okay, I need these for the enchantment. I want that one, that extra enchantment, what the hell is it called, whatever. As well as I need to color these resources, so it expands it a little bit, but then, oh, you took the enchantments, now I need to reconsider and do things differently. And I think that module is amazing, and it is a must play with that module for me, absolutely. So yeah, so 2 welcoming modules, 1 amazing module, 1 meh module, and 1 that's always decent, nice to have. More cards, more companions, if you play with companions. I want to play more with companions. It's just, I teach this game quite a lot, actually. I've done that quite a lot last year. I've taught Flamecraft, so it never really got companions, because I always follow the advice of don't play this the first time. So I want to play more of the companions. I probably like them more. I'm giving Dragons and Dragons an 8 out of 10. Some pretty decent modules in there, very lovely. Just 1 that I'm a little bit meh on. So yeah, time to move on to some Heat Tunnel Vision, but I can't really set anything up before I place out the actual map here, because that is the main expansion. Well, here's 1 page of it. This is the Netherlands track. Pretty decent track here, which takes around, where is that? Oh, it's right in the middle. It has 55 spaces, 5 turns, and it takes 3 laps to complete. It adds in a chicane. Chicanes are noted from what's it called? Both previous expansions. The previous expansion. There's only 1. I'm thinking about the 3rd expansion coming very soon, but where they have a shared garage for both corners, right? So the weather condition, corner condition counts for both of them. Decent thing if you play with that module, of course. But that chicane, it doesn't really have anything expensive. You play 6 heat cards, 3. So nothing really different about this one. No, the meat of this expansion comes on the other side. When we have La España, the Spain track here. And this is a very long track. It has 109 spaces, 11 corners. But you only go for 1 single lap, start to finish, and you go around. It has 2 chicanes, there and there, so garage count for both of these corners here. And it had a bunch, well, of the namesake tunnels. So it has a tunnel. Well, actually, if you go by a racing line, the first tunnel is here, and you come to a tunnel here, another one here, and last one here. So 5 tunnels in all, and the rule for the tunnels is quite simple. You cannot discard cards when you are within the tunnel, and that can be a little bit annoying because, as you see, most tunnels here, this one comes up to the chicane of 4s, but this one has a 2, this one has a 2 right after in it, this one has a 2 right after it, this one you're coming right after a 2, this one has a 5 within it. So it makes sense within some of these ones to want to maybe discard to go again. I think this is the one that means the least for my play group, because they don't usually discard. I think I'm the only one that regularly discards from his hand. But yeah, other than that, it doesn't really bring in the change. Well, it is a very special track. So then let's talk about a little few extra things it adds. It adds in something that they call aggressive legends, but that's solo. I don't play solo, and I especially don't like Heat's solo mode. So yeah, can't really talk about that one. So yeah, it adds in another car. The purple car, you now can race 8 people, and it adds in this here symbol. That one, that is a draft. Was that what it was called? Yes, they call it draft. And what that is very useful if you are trying to catch up to someone. So, let me just try and place 2 people in here. And take a basis in this one here. It is they're all called front wings, and it has draft here. So let's say I'm in this position right here. My purple car is here, and the green car is here in front of me. 2 spaces in front of me. So this one, besides all the other stuff it does, the purple symbol allows me to move 1 space as long as that space is not occupied by other cars and that I finish my movement right behind another car. So, as I said, I'm here, my opponent is 1, 2 ahead of me, so I can move 1, there's nothing here, and I end up right behind him. If, for example, he was here, I couldn't utilize the movement because, yes, it's free, but I end in a space where no one in front of me. And these come in different values. There's a 3, a couple more 1s, there's some 2s, a 3 and a 2. So these come in the value of 1 to 3. So yeah, if there is that number of spaces that it says in front of you, I believe you can take partial movement. That's at least how I understand parts of the rules. So if I had this, if I was placed here and I have the 3, I could do the 1, 2 and then end my movement here. If I had both the 3 and the 1, and I was back here, 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 4 spaces up, I can combine them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. They also say that I could do individually. So for example, I need another car. Let's say I had, wait, no, I can't do that. They say I can do it individually, but an important rule is I cannot move into space where there's another car. So sure, if I had the 3 and the 1, I could do the 1 here, but I can't do the 3 here because I move through where this car is. So I don't know why they even say you can do that, because technically you can't take them individually, but you can combine them to move, you know, with the 3 and a 1, 4 spaces extra. That's what they add for the race of the garage module, whatever upgrade module. They also add in, is it the 1965 season, I believe it is? Let me just find the season cards and shit up on it actually. Where do I have my season cards? Yeah, here we are. It's just the latest season, of course, and it is the 1965 season, yes. Let me just bring it out here, it's always pretty interesting. We have the 1965 season. It is a 4-race season starting in Great Britain, USA, España, and ending in the Netherlands. So that is for the Grand Prix, what is it called, Grand Prix mode, whatever. And yeah, as I said, it also adds in some legends, which they say are aggressive, don't know what that means. Here is the track cards for Netherlands and Spain. Yeah. I've spent almost as much time talking about this one as I did Flamecraft, yeah. I don't think there's any more to talk about for Heat. Heat Tunnel Vision adds in 2 new maps and a little bit for the, is it called the garage module? Nah, whatever. The upgrades, right? And of course a little bit for the racing and stuff. So yeah, Netherlands is a nice map. It's another one where you race 3 times. Italy is still my favorite map. You race around that 3 times. Netherlands matched that one up. I love that. It adds some tactical elements to it. But of course, Spain is the one that you are here for, this massive map with the tons. I really like it. I love that it's only one lap, very different, very interesting, very large. I do like the tons. I do like what they added, this discarding thing. As I said, in my group, they usually don't discard a whole bunch. I do a lot discarding out of my hand depending on what is coming up in the race. So it's definitely something that affects me a little bit in the race, something I have to think about. But other than that, it doesn't affect my friends too much. And I definitely think the water spots in heavy rain is something that affects the race quite a bit more. That's something way more relevant. But I still think this is a very lovely map. Netherlands I like. The draft thing is, I like that a lot more than the one that we brought in heavy rain. I can't remember what it was called exactly, but it's the raindrop symbol that recycles cards in a different way. I like the draft one a little bit more. The ability that it brings in, it's very much something to think about. And because it doesn't count for speed, that's another thing to just add into it. I can move these phase spaces. If I bet on the fact that you will end up here, I can utilize it. So I really love that addition to it. And then you have another one for the Grand Prix one. It looks interesting. I really want to do the Grand Prix mode module at some point and play through that one. I just need to gather some people and actually do it. But yeah, so just all around a very lovely expansion. And even though I think Heavy Rain is, I don't know if it's a better expansion, but it's a more interesting expansion, it's still a 10 out of 10 expansion. It is absolutely amazing. It just adds to the game, makes it, it brings some differences, but all in all, just amazing. So move on to the last expansion, Forest Shuffle. Okay, Forest Shuffle Exploration. So yeah, this is not a correctly set of Forest Shuffle, by the way. I have way more cards than this, but just to simply put, it first of all brings in all the promos of the past right into this pile here. There are 13, I believe, and the rule they say is that you should shove them up and distribute 2 to each player at the start, so everybody starts with a promo, and if you add them to the deck you should remove 13 extra cards. We did that thing with distributing to all players at the start, at the very first game, but from now on they're just shoved into the deck. I do not remove 13 extra cards. I just have 13 extra cards in the deck. That's how I play, but it's not the rules. It also brings in a solo module here. I believe it's about completing a whole bunch of different missions. So yeah, I haven't played it. I've heard from a mate who has played it, who thinks it's very good. So yeah, if you like solo, I think you would like that one. That's what he says. And finally, it brings in caves with abilities. So there are 5 caves for 5 players. And you will do this in reverse player order. So if this is the starting player and you go by the clock, then that would be the starting player to draft and going backwards. Just as an example for a 4-player game, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Each of them have some little ability, some little bonus. Let me just say them. Whenever you place a card in your cave, draw a card. Whenever you gain a bonus, place one of the cards you used for payment in your cave. +3 per bat in your forest. 5 points if there are no cards in your cave, and 2 points per card in your cave. So you draft these one, reverse player order, to get these little abilities. And yeah, we absolutely play with this all of the time. Really brilliant, and that's all that Forest Shuffle Exploration brings. Alright, Forest Shuffle Exploration. Another one which is a promo pack. Actually, I could throw in Everdel Complete the promo pack as well. That was a promo pack that released this year. It counts as an expansion. It has all the promos that were ever in it. That's amazing. Love getting me some promos. 10 out of 10 for that one. Now you get that one as well. You get an extra little expansion there. But Forest Shuffle, let's talk about that one. The Exploration expansion is the one that released this year. The other ones released, well, last year. The other ones released in 24. So yeah, but yeah, Forest Shuffle Exploration brings in the promos, which I love. They are amazing to get in there. Not all of the promos, although it says so, but it's not all of them. I have looked online. There's a bunch of promos that were not fucking included in it, which honestly pissed me off that they say all promos. And it brings in a solo mode. I've actually been meaning to try this one because my friend recommends it very much. He says it's a really great solo mode and he likes playing it solo. So take that what you will. I still haven't played it. But the main thing it also brings in is, of course, the caves. And I think that is a great addition. It's one of my favorite parts of Darkmoor. These caves abilities are a bit more boring, I would say. the other ones, but they are ongoing effects, which is very much interesting. So there's something to think about when you get these ones, and I just like the little drafting at the start. Here's a cave with some special abilities. It is a nice addition for Shovel. Promos are amazing. The story mode is apparently very good. All in all, this is another 10 out of 10 expansion. A whole bunch of expansions here that I am really happy about from last year. Some of them have grown a little bit on me and become a little bit better. All in all, I hope you enjoyed the video. And in case you're wondering why at some points in the video my sleeves are brown, it's because I was wearing this at the beginning, but it is way too hot in here to continue wearing it, so I dropped it halfway through. So sorry about the continuity era right there. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next one. Bye!